Across the world, round the globe, you're online with Total Rock. Well, this is Total Rock, this is Jim McCall. I promised you a giant of British rock. He's on the other end of the phone, Mr. David Coverdale.
Hey, was that Tommy Vance just doing the announcement there?
It was David indeed, a much missed man. I know, very sadly missed, but he's still with us in spirit, of course.
Oh, bless his heart, absolutely correct. Hi Malcolm, Happy New Year, brother.
And a Happy New Year to you and to everyone associated with Whitesnake. Lovely to have you at the other end of the phone. I know you're not in the best of health right now, are you?
No, I'm doing this because I love you, and that's it. And then I'm going back to my sick.
We shall make it short.
I'm doing some awful John Kalodner impression.
Well, we shall make this short and sweet and simple and straightforward. But we know, of course, very exciting news. Live Still of the Night, the DVD coming out in just a couple of weeks.
That's okay, yes, I believe so. I looked at my website, and apparently the countdown has begun. They actually tell me what I'm doing, which is way cool.
Now, it's a magnificent package. It's something every Whitesnake fan will want. Primarily recorded...
My wife leaves me where to call.
Primarily...
Oh, the DVD package, excuse me.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry,
we won't talk about your other one because that's between you and your wife.
No, it's not exactly feeling like a package at the moment, unfortunately.
Now, it was primarily filmed, as we know, in London. The last time you were over at the Hammersmith. Looking at it, when you actually went through the footage, it must have brought back some fantastic memories of great tour.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, we have such a history with you, my band, my crew, and Hamish Hamilton and his gang. I'm thrilled with it. I'm delighted I waited for it, you know.
Absolutely. Now, there's a lot of...
Of course, whatever the hell it's called now, it'll always be the Odeon to me.
Here, it always will be the Hammersmith Odeon, and of course, the famous Hammersmith Choir, the Whitesnake Choir, full flow, and a lot
What
of...
have you been doing with your voice, Brian? You've been hanging out with Lemmy as well.
I think I borrowed the wrong Lemmy medicine somehow.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But it'll go. But, now, one of the things I noticed, a lot of footage of the audience, which brings home the point, a lot of young people at Whitesnake shows.
Yes. No, it was really, the most noticeable was actually on that tour, and we had fantastic, the pleasure of going backwards and forwards to Scandinavia. I've never been, it was like I hadn't been for 10 years, and suddenly I'm there every 5 minutes. But I was looking in the crowd and I'm going, my God, there's like 14 and 15-year-olds. And I'm looking, I'm going, well, you know, must be nothing else to do in Stockholm or Arnstad or, you know, on a Tuesday night. But, you know, they were singing all the words. I'm going, God. So I'm looking at this. You know yourself, Malcolm, we've always had an incredible cross-section. But this was, literally, this has been a whole new addition. So, of course, I'm checking out the crowds from then on. And if there was booze, of course, being served, you weren't getting the under 18s or whatever. But the majority of shows, about a third of the audience were 14, 15, 16. I shit thee not.
No, which is great. It just proves...
Yeah, are you serious?
Absolutely wonderful.
Completely. The more the merrier, matey.
Here. Now, of course, there's also a CD, a live CD, which comes with the package. I have
definitely tying my package to, in order to achieve all the other stuff. You know, that was something, because as I've discussed with you before, I've got a kick-ass live double, hopefully, for the summer this year. And I want to put 4 new Whitesnakes on there to get people off my back. You know, to keep going on about more new Whitesnake, you know?
Yeah, but isn't it exciting? People want you Whitesnake.
Oh, no, it's adorable. Don't misunderstand me, but it's just so hard to find how to get it out there. You know, if everyone had a computer, I'd just do a deal with iTunes, you know? But, of course, a huge percentage of people do not.
That's true.
You know, the digital downloads are still only accounting for 6% of the global industry. But I mean, if I can find a record company that is generous to put a generous deal together with me and for the band, that won't want the earth and the use of my wife on weekends, you know, then we can come to some arrangement. And also the fact that I think they could really sell more records if they reduced the price of them.
I agree.
You know, I'm a collector, so it pisses me off if I buy an album and I find 1 or 2 songs on there. You know, there should be more quality control, less price, you know, cheaper price for CDs, and I think we'd be able to activate the market.
Fully agree.
The less that people, companies seem to be selling, the more expensive they seem to be making the CDs to try to cover that hole.
It's just a vicious
Does it make
circle.
sense? I don't know. I've got a head full of cotton wool here.
No, not
I've
really.
into this Roman character called Mucus.
Yes, I know him well.
Oh my God, you have no idea.
I don't want to, I don't think.
No. Actually, I think you sound like my voice should.
Yeah, I think there may be a point there. Yes,
Well,
definitely.
we've been fighting this for 2 weeks. I'm hoping it's coming to a head, if you'll excuse the pun.
Yes, indeed. Yes, back away from the package. Now, you also got plans for another European tour this year?
Yes, I've actually, excuse me, I've just heard from my fabulous partner and your old pal, Rod McSween. It's very likely we're going to be in Europe through beginning of June.
Good.
Probably the UK, July. And hopefully we'll be preaching the gospel of the snake for quite some time.
Well,
I said to Rod that, if he likes, I'll belong to him as much as he wants this year. I'm hoping to tie in, I played in Greece for the first time in '03. We had a blast. Sofia I went back to. All of these markets, it's so difficult economically, I think, for them to, to pay for a sizable band. You can only do it every couple of years. So we didn't touch those markets and territories when we were there out in '04. So it's a kind of obligation, to go down and, give them some snake stuff.
Absolutely.
But I'm very excited about the DVD. Anybody curious about it, there's a big interview on whitesnake.com that I did at the end of last year. I'll answer as many questions. We try to tie in, to save me doing press, if you'll excuse the expression, we try to tie in whitesnake.com as like the source,
Sure.
And then we'll ask a certain amount of our more responsible board members what questions, they would want to ask if they were interviewing me. So then poor Albert, my webmaster, and I go through them and go, that's interesting, let's do this one,
And of course,
So that works out well.
It
So how's
does.
Total Rock doing?
Total Rock is rocking away merrily,
Splendid.
as always. Very excited by the fact, I don't know if you've heard, the Monster Rock Festival is back.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
When's that, August still?
June the 3rd at Milton
Hang
Keynes.
on, where are they doing it? Is that the Nebworth or is it going back to Donington?
No, it's Milton Keynes this time.
Oh, is this purple?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So people came on my website asking me if I was doing it. No, I've never even heard of it. I was quite surprised.
Maybe Whitesnake to headline in '07.
Who knows, Dan?
Who knows? And one
I
final...
don't intend to be going away just yet.
No, I should hope not, but I just want to
I
ask you...
choke on mucus.
No, leave that poor Roman alone. One last question.
Him and laryngitis are hanging out.
Oh, God, yeah. I think we should put them in their own box and let them tour somewhere
I
else.
think so.
One final thing before we let you go, David. So many people talk about Deep Purple Mark III, the ideal of a reunion.
Go on, forgive me. Go on.
No, just the idea of a reunion. Is there any way ever we might see it?
Well, you know what? It's interesting because Glenn got in touch with me, the fabulous Glenn Hughes got in touch with me a few months ago, and we've had a fabulous reconnect. And he said that he'd been hearing all of this kind of stuff. And I said, well, I'm really happy what I'm doing.
Sure.
To be perfectly honest, I really am. And I'm not, I think also the most necessary member of that aspect would be Mr. Blackmore. And I think Richie is equally happy doing Blackmore's Night. If you'll excuse that expression.
Yes.
I don't mean to be overly salty. But yeah, that's the scenario. Why would, and of course, I think the people who are trying to drive this thing are the ones who've been putting these dreadful compilations out, which turns my stomach. So personally, I have no desire to be associated with the powers that be behind the scenes. I mean, the opportunity to work with Ian Pace or John Lord, Richie Blackmore, and Glenn would be extraordinary.
Sure.
But as you can tell, if you listen or see the DVD, I'm not holding my breath because my band kicked the living daylights out of Purple stuff.
No, they
In
didn't.
fact, they were the ones who wanted to do Burn. So one of the things that I'll probably, and now of course with the extraordinary Doug Aldrich, I'll probably blow the dust off Mistreated for the next European tour. Because I've never really worked with a player who I felt, You know, the only things that occur to me is when I'm inspired, Malcolm.
Sure.
And Doug is a huge inspiration, as is Toby Aldridge, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And those guys, I think, would help me, you know. I can't drive Mistreated on my own.
No.
I need that, you know, musical kick up the arse by my colleagues.
No, absolutely. I look forward to hearing that. I think everybody will. Definitely. Well, David, I think it's time to let you go back to your sick bed.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to hear from you.
Oh, I've just had a note passed by my beautiful wife saying, watch your nose. When I'm ever, you know, the guy, oh geez, they are going in. I've got to start charging myself $1 for the domestic home fund, I think, if I continue saying that. It's when I hang out with Michael McIntyre, who's an inveterate, you know. Anyway, I regret my, and also my current mucus nose. And thank you for talking with me, and I can't wait to see you guys this year.
We're looking forward to it, David. A great excitement.
Preach the gospel of the snake, Malcolm.
Absolutely, all the time. And in the words of a certain band, we wish you well.
Thank you so much.
Take care, then.
brother.
Take care.
Bye.